High number one. This is the Bills pulling it off against the Chiefs, and I don't think the ball touched the ground for Josh Allen today, finishing 23-26, and one of those was a throwaway. Over 10.5 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns, some rushing yards. We got some run game going on, a lot of tight end action from the Bills today. Chiefs, a little scattershot day on offense, which we will probably talk about. But the Bills pulling this off with all those injuries on defense, and I thought they were really in this game, controlling this game. This was not like a pure luck-based win. This was just a good team winning against another good team. These are two of the top teams in the AFC. But what'd you think about this game and the Bills' victory, Charles McDonald?
Man, just another game where the Bills' offense is just kind of machine
mode. True.
It wasn't quite as easy as last week, where they had 49 against Carolina and they were ripping off all these big runs, but still kind of a similar level of efficiency. I think two stats that kind of stand out to me that kind of help display how good they were in putting themselves in the good spots. Only 16% or 15.6% of their plays went for 0 or fewer yards tonight, compared to 47% for the Chiefs. And their average distance on third down was 5.1 yards. So you get Josh Allen to a bunch of 3rd and 5s and shorter, or around that range, you're gonna win a lot of football games. And they had 50% success rate in both drop back and rushing, 100% success rate in the red zone. I mean, that was to me one of the coolest games that I think this iteration of the Bills offense has played so far.
Yeah, because we saw a little bit of it was their version of the greatest hits. It was like, all right, here's these under center stuff. We got fullbacks and tight ends out here. And then here's the spread stuff. And here's wheel routes to Dalton Kincaid and corner routes to Dalton Kincaid. And I like how you put that, this iteration of the Bills, because I think they've kind of reached this point. Every year they've kind of added a little something and now have reached this version of their offense. And I kind of laid into Joe Brady a few weeks ago after the game against the Falcons. I think I did with Matt, though, and I was just kind of like, what was that game plan? That was just an egg. And I think obviously last week, but then this week too, I thought there were just so much good stuff that they did. Obviously the stats show that, but Allen was a machine. He was hitting it. It was like hitting tight ends, hitting the slot guys, hitting guys to the outside. I was looking on next gen stats and receiver alignment. Yeah, it was 27% of the passes were out wide, 23% were to tight end or tight. 38% were to the slots, 8% to the backfield. So it's just a little bit of everything. And then just looking, there's a chunk of the passes behind the line of scrimmage. Chunk were short. A chunk were intermediate. He went 3 for 3 on deep passes, 3 for 3 for 81 yards, 1 touchdown. That when he's rolling and this offense is rolling, because the run game's so good. I mean, Allen kind of rolls every game, but when he looks like this, it's who? Right. This is why it's the best offense or second best offense or third best offense any given week, because they just look like this. It's just so dangerous. And they can do it's not finessey. They can do the bully things, and then they have speed with Allen. And even if it's just Allen's arm adding the speed, it's just a lot of speed out there too.
I think it's kind of fun to think about what this team has become since Joe Brady was hired as the OC. Because I remember when Ken Dorsey got fired, we were like, man, what? That's kind of weird. Their offense is pretty good.
Yeah.
And it seemed because if I remember correctly, the game that they lost where he got fired was on a missed field goal where they drove down at the end. I was like, that feels like Bengals, a little.
Yeah.
So yeah. I was like, it feels like you're hating there a little bit, Sean. But the offensive production, it never quite changed, but how they get it done flipped. They run the ball a lot better now, which is probably not what you think when you think of Joe Brady, because he's probably thinking of those high-flying LSU offenses and all the points that they scored. But their ability to just kind of get into these, kind of grooves where they can just pound it over and over and over again. I think that's been one of the highlights of Joe Brady's reign as the play caller. Because even going back to that playoff game against Baltimore, when they needed to kind of just shut that game down, just get under center or find your runs behind your big-ass offensive line and churn it out. So that was cool. That was really cool to see, and I just love watching this run game when they're going, because the offensive line's big as hell, quarterback's nasty, and James Cook is developed too.
It's so cool. It's such cool offense just because it's nothing crazy. The touchdown on Dalton Kincaid is just a red zone staple. The run game or there's zone and duo. It's nothing crazy. They just have they have good players and everyone's just on the same page. You're mentioning kind of the transformation of this offense. You mentioned Dorsey, and I would even go back to Dable, his last year. And that was a frustration I had with the Bills in 2021, was that they just got so spread heavy and so RPO heavy. And I can vividly remember this game, and I looked it up, and I was right. It was 2021 against the Bucks. So this was when Brady was there still with the Bucks. And in that game, Josh Allen went 36 of 54 for 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, but he also ran it 12 times. The Bills running backs only ran the ball 7 times that game. That was Devin Singletary when he was the back there. And that was the game because they lost that game. I remember being like, something's got to change. You can't live this way. You can't just go RPO, Cole Beasley, Stephon Diggs, just over and over. Emmanuel Sanders was still on this team. And then now you look at it and it's Jackson Hawes and Reggie Gilliam and, was jumbo tight ends and just these big boy looks. And that's what we thought could get after this Bills team or this Chiefs defense. And 18 times the Bills got the Chiefs into base defense. I looked at some next gen stats, 121 yards, 6.7 yards per play, 45% success rate, 22 personnel, which is 2 tight ends, 2 backs, 6.5 yards a play, 55% success rate on 11 snaps. So just, again, it's just this transformation into bulliness with always having to be scared of Josh Allen and what he can do and where he can launch it and do all that. What do you think about the Bills defense tonight going against this Chiefs team, or I should say afternoon? It just got so dark. Oh my God. So dark, so quick.
Dude, I'm
even right now, as we're doing this is 4:43 my time. It's pitch black in my office right now. I'm just like, I got 2 suns in here, beaming into my face.
It's so tough. It's so tough once you get to this point of the year. And it's like, man, it's first quarter. Why is it dark outside though? It's like,
right.
But I think the Bills defense today, like, you got to be pretty encouraged, especially with the performance that you got from those guys that just got off suspension. Hoke and Ogunjobi, like Hoke had a big sack today. I thought that they, like, if you're going to be a team that has like a shaky defense, like the least you can do is kind of get some of these big splash plays in high leverage situations, and at least they were able to cause like some ruckus there. And I think that's. I mean, until you can get to the offseason and just really start to improve, that's probably what this defense is going to be, which might be good enough to win a Super Bowl. I don't know. I mean, I'm still concerned because I don't think this defense is good, but I also think they probably played today about as well as they could, given where their personnel is against an offense like this that's been shredding the past few weeks. So, like, you feel good in that sense. But I still, look at it like, in the playoffs, this could still be a little bit scary, but just for the first kind of run where you get your defensive lineman back off of suspension, I think that was a pretty encouraging.
It's just, again, it's that, especially the playoffs, it's just all matchup based, and we're going to talk about a billion times over the next few weeks as the playoffs get closer. So it's like, all right, but which offense is truly scared that Bills defense? They're not going to play some of the NFC juggernauts. So it's like Broncos offense isn't scaring me. Okay, you might have to play the Chiefs again, of course. Chargers with that O-line, it's just there's a limit to it. Colts show they're a little mortal today, which we'll talk about. Jags as well. Steelers not going to scare me too much. And then Patriots, which, the run game's a little weak, even though they got after them. So it's like, again, the AFC is so wide open, even if there are some good teams. It's just because there's no kind of perfect team. I was feeling good about the Chiefs, and then this happened tonight. And I just think it was so cool again that the Bills were able to get to some of these kind of new version of their stuff. Also, I had a couple other little notes for the Bills offense. A lot of trips, a lot of 3x1 stuff. I noticed there's like a bunch route to Elijah Moore that was really cool, corner route. Great throw on Josh Allen on that one. But the Kincaid touchdown was a 3x1. It's called a fin concept. I knew it was something else, but that's what's sometimes called. But
what Twitter's called it that.
Fin, okay.
That's far. Yeah.
5 yards and in. If anyone wants to know why it's called fin, 5 and in. But they had 26 plays. Thank you, Next Gen Stats. I can look this up. 26 plays out of trips, 3x1, 228 yards, 8.8 yards per play, 2 touchdowns, 65% success rate. You think they had something against this Chiefs defense? You think they were like, yeah, we're getting even the trips. We're declaring making you do this, because they shredded them out of that. So I wanted to mention that. It's kind of just a little observation on that. And then, I think Chiefs-wise, Brashard Smith is so much faster than Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. And statistically, you see it. His average speed's over 13 miles an hour, 13.08. Pacheco's is under 12, 11.9. Kareem Hunt's is 10.8. So on average,
that high, huh?
When they have the yeah, I know, 10.8. So how about this? So when they have the ball on offense, Kareem Hunt, how many how many times when he's touched the ball, he's reached 15 miles an hour or more, which is like a good running speed. 2.7%. Rashard Smith, 30%. So there's a little speed difference there, but Kareem Hunt can still bully ball and get it done.
When it's 4th and 1, though, I know who I want touching that rock.
Leroy Horde, get it Kareem Hunt. That's what he is now. Feeling good about the Bills. I think this is wide open, I still feel good about both these teams. That was 2 juggernauts. There's some other games we're going to talk about where you can see so much more flaws, and it's so cool to see these two. And we're going like, oh yeah, you're the elite teams. Oh, cool, fun to watch. High number 2. 2 other teams in the AFC. Kind of one team was trying to enter the elite tier, and the other one just keeps mucking it up, and that's the Steelers and their defense shutting down the Colts. And I kind of figured Daniel Jones would maybe have a crap out game where he gets some turnovers because they barely have turned the ball over this year. Barely. I mean, just one of the most efficient offenses you'll ever see, literally and figuratively. And today the dam broke, and it felt uglier than actually what the final score ended up. But the Steelers win 27-20. The Steelers forced 5 turnovers in this game, including a botched punt and then some other picks I'll talk about as well. But what'd you think about this game? Steelers win. A little Tomlin magic, a little punt shenanigans that the Steelers like to do as well. Like that's like their favorite thing. But what'd you think about this game, Chuck?
Oh man, Steelers defense came to save the day today because
they heard you.
Yeah, they heard all of us. I mean, I thought they were going to get stampede today. And I feel like I would make that prediction again based on everything that we had known about these teams going into that game. But today, the Pittsburgh's offense, their average starting field position was their own 47-yard line. That's insane. Like you're at midfield.
That's
almost every drive. And guess what? They still didn't get a first down on 54% of their drives. Like what's going on here?
Wow.
So it still wasn't. They averaged 17 yards per drive. Like I said, 54% of their drives didn't get a first down. The Colts actually had a much higher success rate in both just overall drop back, rushing, higher explosive play rate, fewer plays that more plays that went for a first down or a touchdown. I mean, a higher third down conversion rate. So like the Colts offense, it's weird. Like they still had moments where it looked today, but overall, like you said, 5 turnovers. There's 5 turnovers. Like you're going to get you're just not going to win very many games like that. I think that didn't they actually have 6 turnovers or was it 5?
It might have been more. When I wrote the note, it was 5. I wrote 5 giveaways. It might have been 6 because he had the one at the end too, right?
One on special teams, and then
yes,
5
on offense.
Yes,
yeah, that was so my. Thank you for the correction. 6 after they entered today with only 4 going into the season into this game, and it was just right away. The Peyton Wilson interception, of course, after I call him out, it's like, of course, this is how it works. He gets that interception, then another tip ball interception. That was one where it's the danger of chip help. Jonathan Taylor was chip helping TJ Watt on the right side, as always, and he's a little slow to get out. And the Colts run like they call you can call it a whip route or a crosser return to downs. And because the chip help doesn't get out, Taylor doesn't get out on his route quick enough. Wilson's just standing there. So Jones is expecting that space to just be voided. So he's just like, yeah, there it is. Like, and shows like the faith that he has in the design, and then just goes right to Peyton Wilson. But it's just the danger of chip help. And you could say it's the gravity of TJ Watt, but also the other side, Raymond, the left tackle for the Colts, had a rough day. He ended up he had allowed 8 pressures. Alex Highsmith got after him a bunch. 5 quick pressures, 2 sacks allowed. Just had a rough one. Also, you mentioned the Steelers barely moving the ball. Can I throw some Aaron Rodgers stats at you? I got some historical Aaron Rodgers stats. Historical.
I felt like he was Charlie Checkdown today to the max.
Oh, was he? 2.9 air yards per attempt. 2.9 air yards per attempt. Lowest of the season. Okay. Tied for 3rd lowest by a quarterback since 2013 in a game with 30 or more pass attempts. There's a Trevor Siemian game, a Justin Fields game, and then Rodgers is tied with a Bo Nix game last year against the Chargers and a Derek Carr game. Obviously lowest of his career. 11.4% of his passes went 10 or more air yards. He only had 3. He went three passes went 10 or more areas. He got 12 yards, 1 for 3. He got 12 yards on that. Yeah. What is that? Commander check down. That's how that felt today. A lot of tight end targets, a lot. Darnell Washington. He's trying to get Darnell Washington going. I do see that, but yeah. Steelers offense was methodical. Might be the nice way to put it, but it was a lot of underneath attacking from Aaron Rodgers today.
Yeah, it was a little fart fest a little bit on offense, but hey, I feel like it's hard to
some poofs left and right.
Some poofs left and right. It's just, hey, when you're starting at midfield on an average, you're starting at midfield. Hey, it's tough to lose, even when you do average 17 yards per drive, 3.7 yards per play. And the Colts, when you just look at percentages, kind of blew them out the water in terms of what they did on a play-per-play basis, even though they did hold them to only 20 points today. I mean, this is like one of the rare games where the Colts, it kind of got off to a slow start. Like Daniel Jones in the first half, he was, I think his EPA per dropback was up negative 0.6 per dropback. So you're kind of shaving points there. Not literally shaving points. I mean, just when you think about how EPA works, every 2 dropbacks, you're losing 1.2 points of value. That kind of shaving points. So just a kind of a sloppy game from them, but also. Yeah. I wouldn't really be that concerned if I was a fan. Like, you did get punked by a bad defense, but it's just kind of one of those games where, the Steelers magic happened and they got some crazy outlier performances on special teams and defense to help them kind of pull this across.
Yeah, no, I great way to put it. Like, I'm not like, Colts are frauds or anything like that. This was just one of those games. Like, I would say burn the tape completely. There was some good stuff. Like, there really was, like you're saying, especially. Alec Pierce had some good moments. Pittman had some good moments, but they still had some good stuff. It was just one of those games where you have a bunch of turnovers. The Steelers won another game earlier this year against the Patriots where they forced another bunch of turnovers. And that's why you look at success rate in some ways, and turnovers, you could say there's turnover luck. Some play styles and some running backs and ball carriers are going to be more going to lead to more turnovers and everything, but it's just also so hard to predict. And we even said on the preview show, it's like, I don't know, this Steelers defense, unless they get some turnovers, and it's like, well, okay, they're all right. I didn't know I'm going to get half a dozen.
There it is.
Yeah, there you go in a single game. Yeah, exactly. It all comes in bunches. It rains, it pours. The Colts and Falcons play next week. They play they play in Germany. Yeah, in Berlin.
Berlin.
Never to Berlin. You ever seen Euro Trip?
No, but maybe I'll watch that instead of the Falcons game next week.
6:30 a.m. my time, so I'll be up with my son.
I don't think I need to watch that game.
Daylight savings. Oh, we got the kind of opposites, and then the night game is Steelers Chargers, so that'll be a fun game next week at least. That's kind of like a contender matchup. Like, all right, what are you guys? What tier are you guys? Both of those teams, but Steelers put together complimentary performance, I'll call it, and the Colts had one of those games. I'll put it. Hopefully it's just like, get them all out right now, Daniel Jones, and then you guys can go on another run because the AFC is getting competitive again, but it's still a good team. I have a couple question marks with the corners and stuff, but pretty good team. Yeah. All right. High number 3, the Vikings beat the Lions and JJ McCarthy's return. The Vikings win 27-24. Where do you want to start with this game? I thought the Vikings had a really good game plan on defense. Brian Flores, which I definitely will get into. McCarthy had a couple moments in between some rough stretches, I thought. And I thought that just the Lions just couldn't get out of their own way. I mean, when you have David Montgomery fumbling the ball, like, that's when you know it's not your day. But what did you think about this Vikings win? I thought their defense, special teams all had some nice plays. Yeah,
I thought Brian Flores had a great moments today, especially excuse me, like kind of in like high leverage moments. Like, it felt like when they really need to make a play, they were kind of always knocking Jared Goff off his spot. And I was laughing today watching this game because we've watched Jared Goff play in the NFL for basically a decade now, and all of his bad games, like, they kind of go the exact same way, right? Like, where you're looking at
right, they all feel the same.
Yeah, since he was a rookie to now, they all go the exact same way. Oh, he's getting hit, he's getting under pressure, he's rattled. It doesn't happen. It's not going to happen today. And I thought that the Vikings defense, they did a good job. Just kind of keeping him, just all, like, unsettled in the pocket and doing a good job trying to make some of these tackles in the open field, because we've seen games it feels like almost every week where these skill players for Detroit, they just get loose in the open field, and next thing you know, the game's kind of getting away from you. But they did a good job of keeping things in front of them. And you even had like another big Isaiah Rodgers play on special teams, which I think all of that was kind of needed to kind of overcome what the offense was doing. It's like when you look at the offense, their production in the second half, and we just talked about the Steelers and their what they did today. In the second half, the Vikings offense, their average starting field position was a 41-yard line. Their own 41-yard line. So, when you're starting with only 60 yards to go, that's a big advantage over if you're starting at the 25 or the 30, where you're shaving yards off. So, good team win by the Vikings. I thought their defense really showed out today. And I thought their run game had some nice moments too. To
overcome.
You
keep saying you want to say overcome.
I want to say he was bad today. Like he was really, really bad today, and I feel like I'm having like an issue where I don't understand where the disconnect is on what I'm watching and what's actually happening out there. Like I feel like people don't understand how low they've lowered the bar for a guy that was traded up for in the first round last year, and people are like, oh, what you're done with JJ McCarthy already? I'm like, he'd have to start for me to be done with him. Like we haven't even gotten anywhere yet. Like this has functionally been zero production for the first 3 games of his career. And I mean, in the second half alone, or even if you just want to look at like past basically the first quarter when they had some success in offense in the first drive, they had a good script going. Over the 3 final quarters of the game, second, third, fourth quarter, 24 dropbacks, 48 yards, and an interception. What are we doing? We're having up 2 yards per dropback and a lot of penalties. I mean, and is this discombobulated? People are saying, they're going the wrong way on plays. People are blaming the running back. People blaming JJ McCarthy. All I know is it didn't look all like this before, and that's when Carson Wentz was still not playing good football. So I don't really understand why we have to sit here and say like he's playing well or it looks promising, because it doesn't right now at all. And I think that you should just kind of be able to call a spade. 48 passing yards over 3 quarters. I mean, that's nothing. Like if that was any other quarterback, we'd be kind of laughing about how bad that was. But here, for some reason, we got to treat it with kid gloves, and I don't quite understand why. Viking fans should be wanting better quarterback play than this, but you got to pretend that this little production over this many games at this point is like workable. No, not yet. He's got a lot to show before even functional, man.
Right. That's my glass half full of this. This was my theory. Like I had the Vikings as a wild card team going into this year, and my theory was, well, I know they're going to have a drop off after last year. But I think they improved the line, they improved the D line, just get a few more players, and that they can have a good run game, keep it kind of safe for McCarthy, and that the defense can do like this, like have a lot of turnovers, create chaos, and just hold on there, win 9-10 games, get into the wild card game. And my theory was, God, I'm repeating like the same kind of thing I said about, I think, Ritter when he was with the Falcons. Like he just has to be the 22nd best quarterback. He doesn't have to be top 10, top 15, top 18, just functional. And right now, outside, he hits a couple plays and it's just not really that functional right now. I just think he looks overwhelmed. And again, and this is what's really hard discussing this because everyone wants to jump down your throat. I mean, I got Vikings fans coming after me left and right. And I'm just like, man, I said I'm indifferent on him. Is that I have no sample. He was already a project coming into the league, didn't have a lot of reps, and he still hasn't had a lot of reps. And the reps I see, he looks slow with things to process. Like everything happens a half second late. That's why there's a lot of throws where he's just kind of misses because he's trying to gun it in there because his feet are like, oh, I'm late. Oh, all right, throw. It's just a classic thing quarterbacks do. And I just kind of see that a lot. I see, like you said, some guys going the wrong way. Even at the end of the game, and again, I'm not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill here, but even at the end of the game, KOC's yelling at him to take a knee because it's under 40 seconds. And he's like, hey, hurry, what are you doing huddling? Like, just knee it. Like, just there's like a kind of a lack. Everything just looks like he looks young. Like, and that's the thing is, I think when quarterbacks get drafted high, even for guys that don't have a lot of experience, I'm kind of like, well, the quarterback bar is so much higher now for these young guys. And right now it's like, oh, you look like a quarterback from that came into the league 25 years ago, in the sense that it's like, wow, you have a long ways to go just to understand the game. You can see the nice throws. Like he had one to Jefferson. Everything, his best throws are to the outside right now. And that makes a lot of sense.
The one to ice it
young
today.
and that, pardon? Yeah, the one to ice it. The wheel route to ice it. Yep. He had a comeback to Jefferson. He had a couple throws to Jefferson. Those are all good to the outside. And this is a classic young quarterback thing, is because that's the cleanest. That's the easiest to see for the quarterback. And he's better throwing right to the right now than to the left, which is also a mechanical thing for young quarterbacks, because throwing left, you're always going to be a little bit slower, and you have to kind of like adapt. Everybody has a different way of adapting, whether you bounce, whether you open up your hips, yada, yada, yada. He had that at Michigan where he throwing to his left, he had drop-offs as far as completion percentage, success rate, yardage, everything. His accuracy. And you see all of his best throws are to the right now. And that makes, again, it's sense because that's the ones he's just most comfortable with. It's open. You can see it. There's not a bunch of bodies out there. And I could just throw it towards the sideline to a spot. And it makes sense to me that those are his best throws. But pressure just seems to unravel him right now. And yeah, he needs reps. This is just the catch-22 we talked about on Thursday. It's like he's well behind, I think, of where I thought he would be maybe in his second year. But he needs reps, so you got to ride it out because you can see the good arm and you can see the run touchdown, but it's like it's not great right now, and that's why I'm trying to explain to Vikings fans I'm indifferent right now because NMI need more information. But glass half full, this was my take. Like he just has to be okay, not even okay, just not functioning for this team to win, and this was kind of the upside of that. I mean that's just how I kind of feel about it.
Yeah, I'm just in the standpoint. I'm not going to sit here and pretend he's playing well. I don't get it.
Right.
Look, my favorite team is starting a young quarterback too, Mike Penix. He's not playing well, and it's fine. Like it's just the truth of it. It's the truth of it. I don't know. You say it, you move on. You hope he plays better next week, but until he does, you kind of got to deal with what it is. And I'm just surprised how many people are willing to kind of lower their standards and accept stuff like this as promising. But when it comes to, other quarterbacks, they're trying to bury them.
Better be perfect
every single week.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look at what Caleb Williams and some of these other guys have accomplished, and you look at how the discourse differs between them. Like, dude, why are you handling this guy with kid gloves? He's the NFL quarterback. He's a professional quarterback that was traded up for in the first round, top 10 pick, treated as such. And it's not good enough. It's obviously not good enough at this rate. And the thing is, we do this thing with young quarterbacks where they have these games at the start, and you're squinting to try and find things that make you feel good. And then this game happens. Yeah. Right. And then this game happens for the 30th time. And you're like, oh, wait, no, this actually isn't all that good. And I just think we, as fans of teams with struggling quarterbacks, should get to a point where we yell at our franchise and say, no, we will not get to that 30th game. We're going to cut this off at 10, and you're going to go get a real quarterback. Hey, the owners won the wage war. What are we doing here? It's not 2010 anymore. You're not paying these guys $100 million.
It's not giving Sam Bradford the biggest contract in history. Yeah. All right. Yeah, no, I do say I think there's some inconsistencies who gets criticized in the stuff too, and just also what's labeled a project, who gets time, what are we expectations, and I'm with you right now. It's not good enough. I do want to talk about Flores though real quick before we move on to the actual lows. We're still in the highs right here. I thought the Vikings overwhelmed Jahmyr Gibbs in the interior of the Lions offensive line. Jahmyr Gibbs allowed 7 pressures today. The running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, allowed 7 pressures on 16 pass protection snaps. 6 of those were quick pressures, 1 sack. His average time to pressure was 2.1 seconds. You know how every bad golf game feels the same, or every average one? It's usually interior pressure that discombobulates him. And that's what it was. Even David Montgomery, a lot of pressure. He only had 1 pass protection step. I got to look at what the flow of all this was. Graham Glasgow, the center, allowed 6 pressures, 3 quick pressures, and 3 sacks. Mahogany, before he got hurt, allowed 2 quick pressures. They had some injuries, but what the Vikings did, I noticed it was not every time, but a few of these was they would bring 2 guys down the middle, 2 linebackers down the pipe, A-gaps, double A-gap pressures, double mug, whatever you want. It wasn't double mug because that's semantics. But then they would drop both edge rushers, both outside linebackers, both the ends, whatever you want to call them, drop them, and then rather than dropping out to the flat, they had him running over the middle of the field, where all the crossers and hot routes were. How many times have you seen Jared Goff on 3rd down hit Amon-Ra St. Brown on a crossing route? and they just dropped into it. Yeah. And so it was, oh, the hot's not there. Oh my God, Jahmyr Gibbs is in my lap. Boom, dead. And I mean, the Lions had 17 third downs today. 27.4% of their plays today were third downs. Highest rate the Lions have had since Dan Campbell got there. 45.5% of their drives were 3 and outs. Tied for the highest rate in the game they've had under Campbell. Goff against the blitz was 8 of 14, 74 yards, 3 sacks on 9 pressures. So really, this whole section, I know we got into McCarthy and all that. Tip of the cap to Brian Flores. Great game plan, great execution by the Vikings defense, and plus the block field goal. So, like you said at the beginning, great team win from the Minnesota Vikings.
Aaron Jones had
I think that's a good one.
Aaron Jones had a really strong game today too. I thought Aaron Jones played pretty well. I thought they had
and on the outside, the little swing route was nice. I will say that was a good McCarthy throw. I'll give him that one too.